Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have experienced a spectacular fall from grace in recent times. From A-list royalty to ridiculed and jobless, the couple are an example of what not to do in the pursuit of fame and fortune. Sky News All Stars Esther Krakue, Angela Levin and Caroline Russo chronicle Meghan and Harry's humiliating fall from grace. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have become the laughingstock of the world. Everything they do, be it in business, family or life, is scrutinised and ridiculed as a result of years of attention-seeking, lying and tantrums by the couple. Sky News All-Star Esther Krakue says Meghan and Harry are such an easy target for satire because their life is so ridiculous.
I think it's because their life has been so ridiculous. Obviously, being members of the royal family, anything to do with them is obviously big news, but it's the kind of sensationalist way that they left the royal family and have been crying for privacy and have done everything against actually getting their privacy, signing multi-million dollar deals with the likes of Netflix and Spotify. And, you know, it's the embodiment of being famous for nothing. They're kind of like the Kardashians of the royal family, and it's entertaining to watch. And there's so much material for satire when it comes to these two.
Meghan and Harry were hilariously roasted by South Park a few months ago, and now another iconic show has mocked the Sussexes, with Family Guy ridiculing their frivolous lifestyle.
That's fine, I'll go it alone, just like Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Esther, they didn't miss, did they?
They definitely didn't. You know, Family Guy is one of my favorite shows. I was a bit sad when Seth MacFarlane stopped writing for them a few years ago, but I think, you know, this is a very easy win to sort of make fun of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And they're right. You know, they're famous for doing God knows what. I mean, their podcast with Spotify was cancelled, understandably so, apparently because of differing expectations. But I think it just drove home the fact that really they have very little to offer. So Prince Harry, as a member of the royal family, when he was, you know, an active working member, was quite an interesting character. You know, he had all these stories. The royal family actually humanized him. He was the fun-loving, you know, ginger guy that everyone loved to be around. And since he's been married, he's been a complete bore, a complete misery, snooze fest even. And then Meghan Markle is just, you know, a B-list actress known for one role. She's not exactly a biochemist or a doctor or anything really of substance. She's just someone that plays pretend for a living. And somehow that's made the couple think that they have so much to offer. And I think they've really been humbled by the reality, and so has Netflix, because I don't suspect they've got their money's worth for that $100 million deal that they signed with the couple.
Sky News All-Star Angela Levin says Meghan Markle would be absolutely furious with the skit.
Social, right? You know, on the television, talking of radio, you know, how to deal with it and all the advertising there. And he said that it's very important that he was there to teach people like farmers and people who lived out in the country who would have no idea how to deal with social planning or anything like that.
And after years of trying to carve out their place in Hollywood's A-list by trying their hand at podcasting, movies, producing, writing and influencing, and failing, Meghan and Harry's main goal is to now rub shoulders with the right people to appear wealthy and well-connected without actually having to do anything, says commentator Louise Roberts.
Once the Queen had passed away, and certainly before King Charles was crowned as king, that's when the reset should have happened. Clearly it hasn't. I still hold out some hope that they will come to their senses and perhaps go back to the UK and realise that family is what is important. It's not about sort of making these Hollywood pals who, as we know, seem to be tiring of them somewhat as well. I think with Harry and Meghan, it's important for them to feel they're seen as green, but what's more important is for them to appear to be wealthy and well-connected. That's really their agenda.
Sky News contributor Angela Mullard says Meghan and Harry's flailing relevance will be detrimental to their career goals.
Now, Angela, we've seen plenty of polls this year showing the Sussexes sliding in popularity, which is a bit of an issue given Louise's last comment. But now there's a concern that it might actually impact their ability to pick up work.
Well, exactly. I mean, that is your status is everything, isn't it? And I've just been in the UK, Caroline, and I was absolutely astonished by how irrelevant they are seen. I caught up with a lot of journalism mates, people that don't work in that industry, and people just don't have any time for them whatsoever. And of course, we've seen that in America as well. These polls are not just British polls, they're American polls as well, which show a decline in popularity. Harry seems to maintain it a little bit better than Meghan. Her polls keep going down. So I think there's a little bit of that kind of maybe targeting the woman as the villain in this. So, and I don't think that's entirely correct. But I think, where do you recover? If you're sitting at home and you're Meghan and you're very driven, you've worked really hard to get all those jobs as an actress. I mean, you are being auditioned to actually get roles. So you know how important it is to be forward focused, to have a goal, to have a plan. And now she must be sitting there wondering, where has it all gone so wrong? The South Park for me was, and that sort of mockery of them, was a low point, because America was supposed to be their great champion. I just don't know why they couldn't have spoken to the Queen initially, and they could have been a royal diffusion line in the States. They could have been doing royal work up in Canada and other parts of the Commonwealth, and they just shot themselves in the foot.
And the Daily Mirror's royal editor, Russell Myers, adds, Harry and Meghan must go back to the drawing board after their string of career failures.
Netflix paid $100 million for them to sort of bring in the big shows. But once you had the sort of mudslinging and the trashing of the royal family, what was left? And I think that Spotify executives saw the same thing, didn't they? They quickly got rid of Meghan when it wasn't working out. So maybe a bit more of a back to the drawing board for Harry and Meghan if they're to succeed in that sphere again.
Meghan and Harry are also a laughingstock because of their hypocrisy in relation to their environmental advocacy. The couple were spotted disembarking a private jet following a luxury island holiday, says Sky News commentator Kinsey Schofield.
We have another case of Harry and Meghan being hypocrites. The Sussexes have been spotted disembarking a private jet after a luxury holiday in the Caribbean. Kinsey, for a pair of climate zealots who love lecturing the masses about global warming, this is not consistent behaviour. Prince Harry in particular has been hectoring us about green issues, and yet he certainly can't live up to the standard that he preaches.
That's right, Rita. Just think about the last 6 weeks. Harry flew to London for Wellchild. Then the pair flew separately to Germany for the Invictus Games, then Portugal to see Princess Beatrice, then the Caribbean. Then we saw them exiting a private plane in Atlanta, Georgia. Harry was seen just this weekend alone by himself in Austin, Texas. You and I better watch our carbon footprint, but Harry and Meghan are the exception, because one is the child of a king and the other is a deal or no deal girl.
And Harry and Meghan's environmental hypocrisy was on show again following a charity event where they had an escort of 7 gas-guzzling SUVs, says royal biographer Angela Levin.
They got 7 SUV cars, no police with it, but 7 cars that went round one very, very small block. So you could have run it in a couple of minutes. But they did that just to create some sort of, wow, here comes somebody.
Sky News All-Star Carolyn Russo says this hypocrisy creates a cycle of 2 steps forward and 1 step back for the Sussexes.
More to the point is that the Sussexes appear to be in this perennial phase of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, lecturing the great unwashed about climate change and then swanning around the planet on private jets. Well, it really grinds people's gears.
And after all of these missteps, Sky News royal commentator Angela Mullard questions who is advising Meghan and Harry.
Just don't understand their reasoning, and I don't know why they're not being, as you said, Caroline, better advised on these things. They just almost seem like 20-year-olds playing in a sandpit and getting it horribly wrong.
But Caroline de Russo says there may be hope for the Sussexes yet. The second half of this year has seen more advocacy and less tantrums for the couple, which may be part of their much-needed reset.
In the latter half of this year, we have definitely seen more advocacy and less bile, which can only be a good thing. Let's hope it's part of this much anticipated reset. But even so, there